Hola a todos y bienvenidos a Move 78. En las chorriaventuras de Blackout continuamos con las historias de esta gente perdida en un lugar diferente, en una dimensión desconocida, en un palacio del terror, en una casa de la muerte. Hemos descubierto el pasado de este hombre, o eso dice él, que es su pasado. Quizás todo tenga alguna conexión conjunta, pero de momento no la vemos. Porque por un lado hay un asesino en serie y por otro lado hay demonios. A lo mejor el asesino en serie no es un asesino en serie, sino que es uno de los demonios. Pero de momento tenemos que se han recuperado de la amnesia el soldado y el policía, que no se han comentado. Nos falta la informática, la informática de acento francés, la asiática de acento ruso, el joven ligón, el de arte y la chica.
This scope, it belonged to me. I used it to assist Ralph. He was my partner in my platoon. He was a sniper and I was his spotter.
Ah,
We
mira.
had each other's backs, picking off enemy soldiers before they knew what hit them. Our original mission was to defend an area along the Congo River. Sometimes we'd be assigned to a sniper perch overlooking the enemy base. One day, we observed them acting strangely.
Bailaban la Macarena.
We saw them pull 6 members of their ranks into the courtyard and force them to play what seemed like a modified version of football.
Con una cabeza de alguien.
That's soccer to you, Max.
Ja.
We knew something was wrong. The enemy commander was acting crazy. We sat there observing and reporting as things got worse. Next, they got a captain to play a game, and every time he failed, their commander ordered one soldier of the platoon to be impaled through the chest and left out in the sun to die a slow death. Soon, they had a wall of impaled men obscuring parts of our view of the camp. That's when we saw it. Some kind of monster. It wasn't human. The monster forced some of the survivors to read something aloud. The ones who read it changed. They began to assist their leader, whom they had once resisted. The monster was controlling their thoughts somehow.
A ver, de alguna manera no, a través del libro.
After reporting what had happened, we received word from our commander to come back home. I couldn't be more relieved to hear it. It seemed that our commanders had heard of these creatures before. They flew in some genius scientist, and our new mission became to work out how the enemy was controlling people by making them read something. Our top brass told us to drop our country insignias and work as a black operations unit under no flag.
Ajá.
Some UK Special Boat Service members, Delta Force, GIGN, and many other elite groups joined us. For a while, our mission was going well. However, one day, we woke up, and our commander had turned, gone mad. I don't know how it happened, but something had infected him with the same madness that possessed our enemy. The commander captured us and threw us both in jail. The same thing we witnessed at the enemy base began to happen to us. Every time he made one of our men play some kind of demonic game, he would change, physically, almost like corruption was spreading across his body. He forced a group of us to fight a sniper duel against him. Ralph was no slouch, but the commander had taught him everything he knew. We had to take turns shooting at targets, each one either removing or refilling blood from one of us. Some of us began to fall. I was close. So was Ralph. Ralph was our best shooter, so we decided to refill his blood on the next shot, rather than worrying about me. He says he hit the wrong target. He saved me. But the commander finished off Ralph because of it. He was way too good to make such a rookie mistake. He sacrificed himself so that I could live. Somehow we were able to get lucky. The commander was too arrogant, and through a battle of attrition, we won. Our mission had been top secret. Our governments didn't want the world to know that someone could take over an army of battle-hardened soldiers. Most of us wanted to resign our posts, gather our families, and hunker down and prepare for the worst. Instead, to our surprise, we were brought into the inner circle, told to recruit people we might need, and begin setting up self-sustaining strongholds.
Como este.
I don't remember where I went or what I did after that. My memory's still somewhat incomplete.
I don't understand why your commander would torture and kill people for his amusement.
Porque no sabéis lo que hace el libro.
He wasn't always like that, Sigrid. He was a good soldier, and an honorable man once. But something happened to him. Something took over his mind, like what happens at the enemy camp.
I can't believe that happened to you, Bates. I'm sorry, man.
Let me see if I understand this, bruv. Are you telling me that your commander was possessed or something?
Maybe not possessed. Maybe more like something drove him to do things he never would. I know how that sounds, but that's the best description I have for it.
This entity you mentioned took control of the enemy camp, and somehow went on to do the same in your base as well. Bates, is this the same kind of entity that you faced in that room before? A demon?
I believe so. They don't look the same, but their behavior, it's too similar to be a coincidence.
So you regained your memories after you finished going through that room?
And found this scope, yes.
From this experience, we can theorize that someone knows our individual histories and developed this structure to somehow show them to us.
If that's right, then perhaps there are more rooms for each of our memories.
I haven't encountered any rooms that seem familiar or trigger memories. What about the rest of you?
El poli.
Not me.
Damn it, I want to tell him about the police station, but I need to clear it with Hunter first.
Perhaps we have yet to encounter them, as we've only been here a short while. But why create such rooms at all?
Whatever it is, our welfare isn't this robot's paramount concern.
If we're going to handle whoever is keeping us here, we need to establish some kind of control. I propose we don't go into the next testing room that opens. If it can force us, then at least we get to see the extent of its abilities. But if it can't, then we save ourselves some grief.
Es un buen plan. A menos que sus habilidades incluyan matarnos. Matar a uno para dar ejemplo. Es arriesgado, pero es un riesgo calculado. Si no puede hacer nada, ninguno sufrirá daño. Si uno muere, mala suerte.
No way I'm playing any more of these games.
While I'm wary of the potential consequences, I'll abide by your decision.
Consequences?
Whoever created this system must have taken disobedience into account and come up with one or two countermeasures.
¿Ves?
It's what I would have done.
Fine then. Let's show that machine who's boss.
Tú no. Tú eres más tonto que una patata. A menos que recuperes la memoria y seas más listo, eres más tonto que una patata.
Max?
So, it's going this way, is it? Okay, I'll go along with your plan.
Then we're all in agreement. We refuse to enter the next room after the countdown finishes.
I hope this works out for all of us.
También está el tema del warping. A lo mejor les warpean y les meten directamente en la habitación.
Yo, Sigrid, are you awake?
I am now.
I just got to thinking about what Bates said earlier about the room connecting to his
Sí.
memories.
What about it?
I think the room where we found the gun must have belonged to someone else's memory.
Sí.
Oh shit, you're right. But who?
El que cambió.
What do you think? He's the only one who came looking for the gun.
Max! But how could he know? If he never went into the room and solved it, he wouldn't know about the gun, would he?
A lo mejor lo sabe porque lo hicieron ellos.
He shouldn't, but who knows how this place works?
We should report this to Bates.
Do you trust him, Sigrid?
If we're planning on getting out of here, we have to trust some people some of the time, Hunter. We can't keep lying to them about the police station. especially now that we found another room. Let's come clean about it all.
Alright then, I agree. We'll tell them about Max and the gun we found tomorrow.
No, if ahora.
Good night.
Good night.
¿Qué puñetas? Oh,
Good. Good. Your memory of this is flawless. Perfect. For that, I thank you. I promise your suffering will cleanse this world.
ajá.
There's a lot of work to do. It's time to begin.
Do you have the gun on you?
It's in my back pocket.
Is the safety on?
I'm pretty sure the safety's on.
Se pegará un tiro en el culo.
Shh! There's Bates.
Hey, Bates, can we have a word?
Ah, Sigrid, Hunter, you're just in time. It'll have to wait. Duchesne here has something important to share. You were saying, Duchesne?
Alright, I was just getting down to it. I was telling Bates that last night, I somehow got some of my memories back.
What? Just like that?
Yeah, just like that. Not all, but quite a lot of them. I'm a musician based in London. I had a good thing going with my career. I was booked solid on my US tour. I was living the high life. No worries, no commitments.
Ajá.
I met this lady after my last performance in New York. She left a painting of hers backstage for me. A gift from a fan. I had never seen anything like it. It was perfect and I loved it. I had to meet this woman again. I picked her name up from my assistant. She was called Machi. I showed up at her debut at an art gallery and Lord, I have to say, I was smitten. Got it bad, bruv. Like a bolt of lightning hit me.
Al grano, dices algo interesante.
Thankfully, it was mutual. I met up with Machi a few more times, claiming to want to view her art. Truthfully, I didn't want to be with her. And I believe that she wanted the same.
No nos importa.
I was a love-struck ass. If I'd known better, I'd have trekked back to London and never looked back. My tour was over, so I rearranged some plans and stayed a few more weeks, which turned into a few more months. We ended up getting quite serious by then. She was interested in some place upstate and she invited me to see it with her. It was a mansion that some old geezer was selling. She planned to turn it into an art gallery of her own, which would help her career and connections. When we got there, I should have noticed that something was wrong when I saw all the flies at the threshold. We walked through the front door and almost immediately, we saw him. There was a huge man in a mask.
Oh,
He chased us, but we managed to get ourselves into a room that locked itself behind us. What happened next? Well, gather round and let me explain it in more detail.
vale.
Welcome to my home, young ones.
Who are you? What the hell do you want, you freak?
No se parece a.
Sustenance.
Machi, he's the guy. You know, the fucking guy from the paper. What's his name? We were just talking about him this morning.
The botfly killer? Shit, I think you might be right.
Oh, is that what they call me? Oh, yes, I shall take that name while I'm in this realm. What a pleasure it is that this world has recognized me for my work. But I digress. I must let you know that this mansion is where I conduct my experiments. And now you are part of them.
Experiments, huh? Why are you talking like some kind of wizard?
Ah, what terrible timing! Some foul creature must have entered my baby's apartment.
Los policías.
Whoever it is has given you to a lifeline, it seems. How about a wager? If you can find your way out before I get back, I'll make your experience less excruciating.
How very fucking generous of you.
You are an incorrigible potty mouth, young lady.
Machi, there has to be another exit around here.
Fuck. Just came here to buy the place, and instead we end up getting chased by some giant freak. Pretty sure that people were saying that he's just an urban legend, and killings are the work of some crazy religious group. No one will even find out what happened to us if we don't make it out of here.
I know, right? This is messed up.
Es una pena que no existan los teléfonos móviles donde estáis, ni las cámaras de fotos ni de vídeo. No estoy hablando de WhatsApp, hablo de los SMS de toda la vida, desde los 90.
Did you hear what this guy is supposed to have done to his victims?
Sí, les hace escuchar a Leticia Sabater.
Not really. I haven't been following the story.
He ties them up to a chair, puts them on an IV drip, and leaves them there.
That doesn't sound that bad.
If you'd let me finish, you'd have heard what he leaves in the room with you, but since you interrupted me again, I'm not telling you.
What? You can't leave me hanging like that, girl.
Ha!
Told you before, it annoys me when you talk over me.
I already said I'm sorry. I just talk a lot when I'm nervous.
I guess now's not the time to be arguing about that. Let's try to find that exit before that mutant comes back.
Vale.
Bingo.
Why do you think that big guy built this?
Who knows how a guy like that works? He said this place is for his experiments, but fuck if I know what his goal is. I don't plan on sticking around to find out.
Que sea abierto y por dónde. Algo se ha abierto.
A door with some artwork of a gun on it.
No creo que sea artwork.
It's locked. I don't think there's a simple way of getting it open.
So there must be some kind of trick to open it that doesn't involve a regular key.
It looks that way.
A ver, esto fue en febrero del 2009. Un año después, un año y 3 meses después, pasa esto. No encontré a nadie, pero había pruebas de que hubo algo. Y debería llamar a un de plagas, a un exterminador de plagas. Vale, falta un manubrio. Fácil. En cuanto encuentre el manubrio, todo será fácil. El joven, el housekeeper, la madre y el cura. Vale, entonces es 3, 1, 8, 3, 1, 8, 6, no, 4, 3, 1, 8, 4. Oh. Cinco, ¿qué ves? ¿El 3 o el 9? Yo creo el 3. El 3 lo ven casi todo. La madre no ve una mierda. Pero desde aquí sí se ve... Esto puede ser un 4 o un 9. La misma cosa, 9, 9. Cinco, 9, 9, 3. ¿Qué puñetas?
Red, green, gray puzzle. Red, the gray puzzle. Watch the gray puzzle. Watch over secret flies. The over secret flies. The off gun door. Open the killer door. Open the gun door.
I knew I liked you for more than just your good looks.
Pensaba que iba a ser el Sacket Door, pero...
Let's see what's behind that door.
Before we do, can you finish telling me about what this guy does to his victims? I need to know.
So, to recap, he ties them up to a chair, hooks them up to an IV, and leaves them. Then, he releases a massive amount of bot flies into the room with his captive. These flies are some kind of extraordinary breed that scientists say are a newly discovered species. They have a stinger that they use to lay their larvae under the skin of their human hosts.
Hay unos mosquitos. No sé si son unos mosquitos. Creo que son unos mosquitos, pero pueden ser moscas de África que hacen eso. Dejan larvas dentro. Se las llama filarias. Las larvas.
After a few days, the poor soul can begin to feel them squirming around inside their body. Imagine sitting in your own filth, unable to move and unable to get rid of the bugs making a home underneath your skin.
Prefiero no hacerlo.
Your only way of telling time is when he comes back to refill the IV drip every few days. Eventually, the larvae grow larger and begin to eat away at the flesh from inside. The pain and discomfort must be unimaginable. The newspapers say that most people succumb to infections, but can still be alive for weeks until they finally die. If he ties us to a chair, I'm gonna bite my tongue off.
Babe, it's bad enough when you make me watch those horror movies you love, but I feel sick now. You could have sugar-coated that story a bit for me.
Use it as motivation towards escaping from here.
Muy bien, pues hemos abierto la puerta de la pistola, así que vamos a dejarlo aquí por hoy. Esto ha sido las aventuras de Blackwood y esto ha sido otro capítulo más de Move 78. O 75. 78. Hasta el próximo. Adiós.